got a couple of new first world problems for you for me to vent, for you to laugh at. First of all, I was pretty annoyed. Like, not if on a scale of 1 to 10, I was like a 4 or a 5 level of annoyed that I had to do my hair today to record this video because I washed my hair yesterday. I'm not going anywhere today, but I still had to curl my hair because it's all nappy and it's gross if I don't. And I'm annoyed because I'm getting my hair done tomorrow for all of the end of season events in Florida. I'm getting my hair done because I'm not going to have a chance to for another month. And I just feel like it's a waste because all of this is going to get washed out first thing in the morning. So you guys watch my videos, subscribe to the Cheer Mom Podcast YouTube channel so that all of this hair curling won't have gone to waste. My second first world problem is, as you might know, my husband and I own a couple of restaurants. He does most of the work. I come and do the fun stuff, if that. And one of the fun things that I got to do this week is they're trying to decide, him and the managers are trying to decide whether or not to buy this new piece of equipment. It's super expensive, but it makes the best pina colada you've ever had in your life, or at least that I've ever had in my life. I'm not going to tell you how much it costs, but it's thousands and thousands. And one of our bar staff was like, yeah, but it'll change your life. Let me take you to this place that has one. So he took us there, and kid you not, they came in these cute little like milk bottle shaped glasses, and I'm just like downing this pina colada. Best pina colada I've ever had in my life. And the problem was that we have been deliberating and debating on, will our customer buy this? Is this who our customer is? And it was an argument. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. It's very stressful. Anyway, speaking of poolside, and because I drink pina colada, I never drink pina coladas, but except for when I'm at the pool and there's a cute cabana boy just bringing them to me. And charge it to the room. Charge it to Justin Carrier's room. He'll pay for it. Speaking of end of season events and all the things, we're heading to Florida. I am there for 19 days, something like that, doing photo shoots, having meetings. I'm hoping to sneak in a podcast or two with some special people. I hope to see you there. I will be at the Youth Summit, the Cheerleading Worlds, the Summit, Prep and Rec Grand Nationals, the D2 Summit, the One Finals, the Finals, all those things happening those few weekends in Orlando and Tampa. Hope to see you. There's still opportunity to work with me if you want to do retirement, like uniform retirement shoots, jump in the pool. I'm really obsessed with the pool right now, I guess. If you celebrate the end of your season with a prom or a fun party, why not have it documented by a fabulous photographer who also has a podcast? So I would love to work with you. You can find the link in the description of this episode. Don't forget to share this podcast with a friend and submit your Cheer Mom of the Week nominations. A cheer mom who has been kind to you, who you've observed being kind to others, and I would love to shout them out on the show. We've done a couple of so far, and it was so fun. So you can email hello@wonderfuldaymedia.com and put Cheer Mom of the Week in the subject, and just tell us a little bit about the cheer mom that you are going to nominate. You can nominate yourself. I mean, if you're killing it, why not nominate yourself? hello@wonderfuldaymedia.com, cheer mom of the week in the subject line, and I might shout you out on the show. So this is the time of year where a lot of people are posting about high school cheer tryouts. All of the all-star info packet tryout info packets are coming out. And we talk a lot about, you do both. Should you do both high school and all-star cheer? But I haven't talked a lot about, if you have to choose, which one do you choose? A lot more programs across the country, especially in the high school realm, are making athletes choose. They're not giving them the option to do both. I think fewer all-star gyms or teams make them choose because, I mean, I don't know why. I can't, there's probably lots of reasons why they make them choose. I know that there are some world's teams that say absolutely not. You can't do all-star or you can't do high school because it'll wear you out and it'll take you away around state and nationals. A lot of high schools say absolutely not because all-star takes you away during it's the busiest time of the all-star season in that February, March, April time when high school nationals are happening, and neither wants to give up their athletes during those practice spots. And unfortunately, we can't figure out how to be in two places at once. So when it comes down to choosing, how do you choose? Now, that has so many factors involved depending on where you live, what your athletic skill is, what your cheerleading skill is, what your position is, flyer based, strong tumbler. There's so much that goes into that. So I can't definitively tell you one way or another, but what I'm going to do is help you with your pro con list and give you some questions that you can ask yourself, that you can talk about among yourselves, your athletes with your parents, and maybe help guide you toward the decision that's right for you. So here's the breakdown to help guide through the decision-making process. Have you ever met someone with a tattoo and asked them why they chose that specific tattoo? They probably had a story about how it's significant to them. I have 3 tattoos, and they all have a very deep and meaningful significance to me. And every time someone comments on one, I'm like, thanks. And then I give them like a 5-minute explanation about why it's important to me. Even if tattoos aren't your thing, I think that we all need little encouragements and things that are specific to us, that remind us of the things we love most and the words that motivate us to keep going. And that's why I started TCC Jewelry. The necklaces, bracelets, and rings are simple and engraved with little words that have special meaning, like hit 0, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 1, 3, 5, 7, and more. And check out the new collections like the Faith Collection and introducing the Dance Collection, baseball, softball, and volleyball collections. Get something special for yourself or that special athlete or coach in your life today by visiting tccjewelry.com and enter coupon code CheerMomPod for 15% off your order. That's tccjewelry.com and enter coupon code CheerMomPod for 15% off. This episode of the Cheer Mom podcast is brought to you by Apollo Performance Socks. These aren't just any socks. They're a game changer for everyone in the cheer industry. Athletes, coaches, moms, I'm talking everyone. Listen to the rest of the episode to learn more and to find out how you can get 10% off your order of Apollo socks. The first question that you need to ask yourself, and that parents, you need to ask your athlete, you need to really find out from them what their goals are. So what are my goals in cheerleading? And parents, I encourage you to let your athlete speak on this one, even if you might have some goals for them and things that you think would benefit them in their choice. Really let them talk about what it is that they want out of cheerleading. And that will help set the tone. So are you cheering for fun? Are you super competitive? Are you looking for community? Are you looking to be more involved in your town or your city? Are you looking to cheer in college or maybe even professionally? Now, remember from past episodes, you don't necessarily have to do one or the other or both, all-star and high school, to cheer in college. But you do need to have that strong game day presence. So if you're only doing all-star, you need to find a way to learn game day if college is your goal, if college cheerleading is your goal. There are plenty of college cheerleaders that only did all-star that have done just fine when it comes to game day. And I'm not just talking about the game day routine. I'm talking about football, basketball, the actual school spirit of it all. Again, you can learn that by going to clinics, by getting together with friends and practicing those game day cheers. But really think about, what is your long-term goal? I know that 4 or 5 years seems like forever away, but high school will go faster than you know it. And I think that you can save yourself from a lot of preventable stress when it comes time your senior year rolls around and you're still not sure what you want to do. That said, it is okay to change your mind. It is okay to say, nope, I'm gonna go with All-Star, or nope, I'm gonna go with high school. And after you get there, find out that it's not aligning with your goals, with your values. There's so many reasons why it might not work out for you one way or another. People change, and this is the time of your life where you're going to change a whole lot. So I think that especially in cheer, and especially if you're really good in cheer, it's easy to assume that, or it's easy to get caught up in the idea that if I choose this, this is my path. This is what I'm going to do forever. But that does not have to be the case. And parents, I think we need to absolutely give them the freedom to be able to change their path, change their mind. How many of us adults are doing as a career, doing in our career what we did, what we got our degree for in college? How many of us are using our actual degree? How many of us have thought that our lives were going to go one way and it turns out we didn't like that way and we abruptly changed course? How many times have you changed the industry, or how many of us have changed the industry that we're heavily involved in? I know I have a couple of times now. And I think that with our kids, it's no different. I think that they need to be able to, especially in this formative time of their life, learn independence and be given the freedom to have autonomy over their choices. And I think as parents, it's our job to help them make the most informed decision, but ultimately leave the decision up to them, because there are consequences of our decisions. Abby, my daughter, made some decisions either way in high school and saw some things unfold that I thought she would have missed. And I'm like, are you still happy with your decision? And she said, absolutely, because A, B, and C. But I don't think that would have happened if she hadn't had all of the information. So parents, we can't control their decision, but we can give them all of the tools and the information that they need. And then we have to be able to let go and let them decide on their own. So number one, what are my goals in cheerleading? This episode of the Cheer Mom podcast is brought to you by Apollo. I've never met a cheer mom who doesn't want to keep their athlete healthy and injury free. We all do. But did you know that common cheerleading injuries like plantar fasciitis and ankle sprains can often be prevented just with having the proper support? That's where Apollo Performance socks come in. I wear them at night. I wear them when I travel, even just lounging around the house. And I know that they are changing the game for cheer athletes at practice and on the competition mat too. Apollo socks can even be a wonderful substitution for bulky leg braces, ankle braces, and even KT tape. And many athletes don't even need to use their heel cups anymore either. The difference in comfort and recovery is incredible. Apollo socks are designed to provide targeted support, reduce inflammation, and help your cheer athletes stay on the mat doing what they love. Visit apolloperformance.com and use code CHEERMOM2024 for 10% off. That's APOLLA performance.com and enter CHEERMOM2024 for 10% off. Next, which program offers the opportunities that I want? This is where location and school district come in. I know a lot of all-star cheerleaders, they're not even considering being a high school cheerleader because their feeder school doesn't have a cheer team, or they're really bad, or they don't like the coaches, or there's not opportunity. Maybe they already have flyers. There's so many things there. So this is really going to depend on where you're deciding to go to school. I also know families that are shopping high schools based on what cheer team wants their daughter and where the daughter is going to feel challenged and have the most fun and jive with the team. I don't think that that's a bad idea either. I always say, don't go to college for cheer, go to college and cheer. But high school, I think that would be okay if you were really focused on going to a high school that has a chance of winning your state competition or a chance at placing high at nationals. I think that it's okay to shop high schools based on cheer team if that's where your goals lie and where your values stand. Alternatively, maybe you do have a real shot at being on a world's team that is gonna win worlds, and maybe you're already on that world's team and you want to continue on the elite path. I think that's fine, and I think if you do want to cheer in college, you still can. I think one thing to remember with all-star cheer is that it is this kind of bubble, and like I've talked about recently, unless you have this sort of balance with your outside life, with school friends, or maybe you do an extracurricular activity at school, unless you have something outside of All Star Cheer, it may be more difficult to transition from high school into your adult life or into the next season of your life. So keep that in mind too. Next, what kind of time commitment can I realistically manage? And athletes, hear me when I say, from day one of high school, everything matters. Your grades matter. If you have a goal to go to a certain college or get a certain amount of scholarships, the day that you walk into the high school doors, your freshman year, you've got to be focused on academics and your grades. And if being on either cheer team is going to hinder that, that is also something to consider. I will say that although the schedule is rigorous for high school cheer, especially when it comes to December, January, February, and heading into nationals, the schedule is going to be busy. However, I mean, it is a little bit more forgiving because school districts they can set boundaries on how much the coaches of sports can require of their athletes. And so I think that this would be a tick on the con side for All Star Cheer because All Star Cheer, it's inevitable, especially if you're on a high level team, you're on an elite team. It's going to take you away from school more so than high school cheer will because you're going to Dallas, you're going to Orlando, you're going to all these places. And this is also the time of year when I see parents posting in the Facebook group like, we're out of absences. What do you guys do? How do we finagle this absence policy when it comes to cheer travel? So even if that's not an issue for you, and your school is understanding and your teachers give you the work, it's very challenging to keep up with schoolwork and stay focused on school when you are at all of these all-star competitions. So all-star is going to divide your focus. And if your focus is academics and scholarships and college, which it doesn't necessarily have to be, it's important. But if that's your focus and you want to be a doctor or you want to have some kind of specialty, that's something to consider. And that all-star might, especially later in your high school years, that junior year, guys, it's tough. That junior year is a tough, tough year. You have to ask yourself, am I going to be able to handle all of this juggling and managing my time and my schedule? This is a super important question. Which team culture feels most like home? And only you can answer that. Obviously, maybe you have been with your all-star coaches since you were 5 and you want to stay working with them because they provide you the most athletic and moral support. I think it's crucial to have mentors and a support system outside of your parents and immediate family that can help you during this time of your life. It gets stressful. Mental health is a big issue. So really consider which program, all star or high school, is going to support you in your mental health and be your support system rather than a stressor. And there are plenty of all star programs. We've talked about toxic environments in cheer with Jeff Benson, but I've also seen high schools where maybe the coaches are fine, but there's a toxicity among the senior class or the sophomore class that I've seen cheerleaders quit high school cheer just because the bullying was so bad on that team. So it might be worth your while to ask other parents on the high school team or athletes. Maybe you have a friend of a friend or somebody who's on the team in high school and kind of get a feel for like, how does everybody get along? Now, you don't have to be holding hands, kumbaya, and be best friends all the time. But if there are real issues that you think might challenge your well being, they'll show themselves. Don't go off of just one person's word. There's a bad apple in every group. There's somebody with a chip on their shoulder or somebody who misinterprets something. But if you start to see and hear about a pattern, that's something to consider. Next question to ask: what would I miss if I walked away from one of them? What would I miss if I walked away from All Star? What would I miss if I walked away or didn't do high school cheer? Is it a specific tradition? Is it a group of friends that you're really jiving with? Is it the chance to win a title? Now, I've never been in a college admissions room. I've never seen the nitty-gritty of how they consider things. But if I had to guess, I would say that a strong high school cheer program might look better on a college application because it's easier culturally to understand. If you put Summit Champion on your college application, like that's great. I don't think it's going to hurt you, but I think it's going to catch the eye. I would imagine, just speculating, I would imagine that it's going to catch the eye of an admissions officer that you won a high school title faster than an all-star, because then you kind of have to explain what all-star cheer is, etc., etc. But really think beyond the uniform on this one. What am I going to be missing? And I have FOMO so bad. You may not know what you're going to miss, but I always think like, well, that's exactly right. Like, what if I make the wrong choice? And what if I miss out on a summit title or a world's title if I just go ahead and do high school? And what if I miss out on new friends because I'm at all-star practice all the time? Those are legitimate questions. I'm going to give you a little caveat on this one because I've seen it happen all over the country. And this is not how you should make your decision. But if you are kind of 50-50 and leaning more toward high school, but it's like 51-49, go with high school. Go with high school cheer, because from January, February, a lot of these all-star teams unfortunately have injuries, or they're changing the team size, or they've had dropouts, or they form a half-year team. It happens all of the time. And so if you're able to get through the bulk of high school season and nationals, for the most part, high school cheer coaches don't really care what happens after nationals. I'm not speaking for all of them, but after you hit nationals in the spring and in early spring, it's just basketball. And not everybody cheers at basketball games. They can rotate, and so you can manage that. So you never know what can happen. You never know who might call you up or need you after high school nationals. So then you potentially get the best of both worlds. Here are some other factors to consider. Consider the level of competition. All-Star tends to be more elite skill building competition and maybe some industry exposure. So if you are an ambassador for a cheer related company, All-Star might be the better choice for you. High school cheer will definitely offer more community involvement, and it offers that more traditional, again, cultural recognition. So not only are you on the cheer team, you could be up for team captain, you could be up for school leadership, or be in the homecoming court. Again, instant friends that may move on to the local university in your state, and you'll have friendly faces there. Doesn't mean it won't happen in All-Star. I just see it happening more in high school cheer, at least in our area. Think about the time commitment. All-Star is going to require more practices, more intensity, and the season, as we know, doesn't stop. High school, there is going to be a commitment with football games, basketball games, practices. There is a time commitment. But like I said, the season sort of ends, quote unquote, when school ends, but even a little bit before that, like after nationals, if you compete at nationals. Consider the cost. High school cheer is significantly less expensive than all-star cheer. It is still expensive. There is still little to no funding for cheerleading among high schools, but the cost is like, oh, that's all it is? Well, I can pay for that right now. And people are way more likely, if you are doing a fundraiser for high school, people are way more likely to donate toward a local public school cheer team to go to nationals, even a local private school cheer team to go to nationals or to get new uniforms. They're way more likely to be invested in that local feel than a lot of all-star programs. And that's not to say anything, throw any shade against all-star. People just don't identify with it as quickly. High school cheer usually has a uniform cost, practice wear cost. Camp is probably one of the bigger expenses. And then if they're traveling to Florida or Dallas for a nationals competition, there's that as well. Now, parents, I want you to hear this because you may think that colleges are only going to scout and recruit through the high school teams, and that's just simply not true anymore. There are plenty of all-star organizations forming. Like I know Cheer Athletics does a college combine, Infinity does a college combine. You can attend any local high school's cheer clinic, whether you're enrolled in cheerleading or not, and be able to get in front of college coaches and their representatives. So I believe that every town needs to have some kind of college clinic, college combine. I know that one of our local schools does, and they bring in, where I'm in Colorado, so they bring in Texas Tech, they've brought in Trinity Valley, they bring in the local universities, I mean, just from all over. So high school doesn't have to be the only way to get in front of college scouts and recruiters. You have plenty of opportunities if you choose all-star, or your athlete has plenty of opportunities if they choose all-star. And I have to break it to you that social media is playing an even bigger role when it comes to showcasing your athlete's skills. So a lot of colleges will depend on their social media account to kind of see what their cheer presence is, what they can do. And so if you're really looking at college cheer, if you're hoping to win what teeny tiny bit, if any, scholarship money they have, especially if you're a boy cheerleader, social media is going to be the place to showcase that, where the college coaches might see you, or where the college coaches might have a better chance of noticing you. All the universities hold a recruitment clinic. So I actually know an athlete that did the recruitment clinic tour all over the country. Every weekend they were going to a different recruitment clinic. You pay the fee, you register, you can go to any college recruitment clinic. So if you live in California and you want to go to University of South Florida, they'll have a clinic. If you live in Kansas and you want to even just to have the experience. Maybe you're not planning on going to the University of Kentucky, but you want to have the experience of working with their athletes and coaches. You too can work with the University of Kentucky's cheer team. So don't let your choice limit you when it comes to being seen by college coaches, if that makes sense. My final thoughts here in closing, I want to encourage parents and athletes that there is no one right answer. There is not a single definitive solution. It's the solution and the answer that's right for you and right for your family and right for your budget and your time and your academic schedule and your goals. What matters most is choosing a program that aligns with those things and that puts you in a position for being your best self and to have a positive well-being. And again, choosing one now doesn't mean that you can't, it doesn't mean that you have to do it forever. It doesn't mean that you can't revisit your pro-con list, these questions in your decision in the future. I can speak for most programs when I say they'll welcome a freshman, they'll welcome a sophomore, they'll welcome a senior just as much as they would welcome any freshman. So things can change. I think Abby talked on the podcast about she didn't do high school cheer all 4 years of high school. She had the benefit of being able to do both all-star and high school, but she didn't do high school cheer all 4 years, and she had some reasons behind that, but then circumstances changed, and she was able to hop on the high school cheer team for her senior year and finish out. They won state, and it was amazing, and she had a great time. So nothing has to be permanent. Everything, as Marie Forleo says, everything is figure outable. So good luck with your decision. Comment if you have any questions or if you have input for other cheer parents and athletes trying to make this decision. And until next time, remember, it's just cheerleading.
What up, party people? This is Jason Larkins, host of the Let's Talk Cheer podcast, and I've teamed up with Kristen Wheeler of the Cheer Mom podcast and Dan Cotton of the Cheer Biz podcast.
That's right. Hey, everybody, Kristen here. We know that you love cheer, so why not dive into more perspectives? Tune into my podcast, the Cheer Mom podcast, for cheer issues spoken from the parent's perspective. Then head over to Dan's podcast, the Cheer Biz podcast, to learn from a gym owner on how to run a successful cheer business. And of course, don't miss the Let's Talk Cheer podcast featuring Jason Larkins, the one that we all know and love, where they talk about cheer from a coach's perspective.
Which means whether you're a coach, a cheer parent, or a gym owner, we've got you covered. Find all 3 podcasts on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and stay tuned for new episodes each week.